Hey everybody, it's Galmadex, and welcome back to another quick draft of Murders at Karlov Manor. This is going to be a very quick draft. As you know, usually when I hop into the quick draft format, it's because I need to get a video recorded quickly. I got some stuff going on today and not a ton of time to record. So we're going to be taking a peek back at the first set from 2024 rather than some modern Tarkir stuff. But we'll be right back to that starting tomorrow. So Murders at Karlov Manor is the quick draft format on Arena for the next at least several days here before it rotates out. So if you want to see the format in action a little bit here, this is a fine video for you, but I'm going to be going pretty quickly. So if you want a good, solid rundown of the draft format and pick orders and stuff like that, definitely check out some of the older Murders at Karlov Manor drafts on this channel. Without further ado, time to get into the quick draft of Murders at Karlov Manor. There are two cards in this pack that stand far above the rest: Evidence Examiner and Detective Satchel. While they are two-color spells, they are way more than enough more powerful than the monocolor cards to take one of those two, and I'm going to go for Detective Satchel. I like the blue-red archetype a little bit better for getting games over a little quickly, but I do think green-blue is also a really powerful archetype, especially if you play some rampy stuff. You get some powerful bombs like Doppelgang and stuff, but this is a somewhat aggressive format for sure, so if we lean towards a red deck here, we could have a decently fast one, and the blue-red has a lot of great value plays as well with all the clue tokens. Pick 2 is a really weak pack altogether. Only real playable option is the Dog Walker here. I mean, everything here is playable in the right deck as a filler card, but Dog Walker is the only thing relatively exciting, and it's a pretty flexible card because of the hybrid mana flip-up cost on the Disguise ability. Disguise just being Morph, except it's got Ward 2, so play it face down for 3, flip it up for 2 mana. Pick 3, Deduce is really nice with the Detective Satchel. But it is enough weaker than Private Eye that we could go speculatively here and just take another gold card since it is still quite early, and I'm going to do so. Private Eye, really strong card if you have like all detectives in your deck, but getting a second copy of Detective Satchel here makes it super likely we are the blue-red clues deck, where this copy of Deduce is going to play super well for us now, as we have two of the Satchels spitting out Flying Thopters every time we're cracking a clue. The on-color cards in this pack both tremendously filler, so I'll take the solid black removal spell out of the pack, speculatively. It's been a kind of awkward draft here. Relatively weak packs, and the colors have been kind of bouncing around altogether to where now we just got to take an Azorius card because it's the only playable there. But Cold Case Cracker is a really nice card to kind of hedge our bets here. It can fit into the blue-white Detectives deck we have, potentially, with the No More Lies and Private Eye, but it can also fit into the blue-red Clues deck. Pick 9, though, we're not going to be getting anything playable. Riftburst Hellion, at least with the hybrid mana flip-up, could be played in a red deck, although it would be very filler. Case of the Shattered Pact is super filler fixing for any deck. Pick 11, Deduce is an awesome pickup because it can fit into our blue-white Detectives deck perfectly fine, but it'll also be really good in the blue-red Clues deck. And we'll see what we open up. Pack 2, pick 1. All right, triple Detective Satchel. Seems like a plan. Here's another Cold Case Cracker to give us another clue when that thing dies. Also just a solid flying card up front. There's another one here. I'm a little concerned we have like no cheap creatures right now, but I still think Cold Case Cracker is way better than Vengeful Tracker. Blue-red is the archetype that can use the Case of the Filch Falcon. You're going to have some artifact creatures potentially, and of course a lot of clue tokens. Being able to turn a clue token into a 4/4 flyer later is pretty decent. Plus, it gives you that clue when you play it. These 2-drops are really bad, so I'm going to take the Counterspell. I think it plays really well in a deck that has a lot of clue tokens because you always have an instant speed 2-mana draw card if you don't end up using that 2 mana that you held up on the Counterspell. Here's another Deduce. Cornered Crook is nice. We can sack a clue to deal 3 to any target, deal with some kind of threat. There's also the Dramatic Accusation, though, which can also deal with anything. Tap it and keep it tapped forever, so either of these is solid removal. I think I'm actually going to go Accusation over Crook, because it can kill some bigger stuff, potentially. Here's another Case of the Filch Falcon, really fun in this deck. Although Suspicious Detonation's also fine in blue-red, but I'm going to go for the synergy-oriented card, because it's fun. Out Cold is pretty decent, but I think we're low enough on creatures I might have to take this Offender at large here, just a filler 3-mana 2/2. Has a pretty solid flip-up later in the game. Take a quick peek at our mana curve and the amount of creatures we have. The Satchels do spit out a bunch of creatures, so there is that. We have 2 3-mana and 3 4-mana. I think Out Cold is good enough to take over Offender at large, but we are quite low on creatures right now. And it's likely to stay. I'll probably have to play a Sanitation Automaton, honestly. And it does get a little bit of an upside in here since it is an artifact creature to help our double Case of the Filch Falcon. Pack 3, pick 1. Volt Strider's decent in here. It is a artifact, again, with our Case of the Filch Falcon, but we want a ton of instants and sorceries in here as well, which we've got a decent amount, but the only ones we can really copy are Deduces and an Out Cold, so like 4 that are copyable. Seems maybe a little more narrow. I mean, it's definitely more narrow than Torch the Witness, but potentially more powerful. I'm still going to go for the Torch the Witness here. This is a really, really good removal spell. You get to destroy a creature plus get a clue token if you spend enough mana on it. Pack 3, pick 2, unauthorized exit, a fine way to slow people down. Little bummer, it's the only uncolored card outside of like a Rift Burst Hellion. Not really what we want to see this early in these packs. Crime Stopper Sprite's perfectly fine. Flying Threat that can slow people down with that stun. We could also take Dramatic Accusation for more removal. Either of these cards are pretty decent here. I'm going to go for the Accusation. Pick 4, Galvanize is great removal, especially in the clue deck where you can consistently draw a second card in your turn by sacking a clue. So I love that. Pick number 5. Surveillance Monitor is a nice Army in a Can style card. 4 mana for a 3/3 plus a 1/1 flyer all by itself, and if you do end up casting any other Collect Evidence cards, it can make even more creatures, which this deck's probably not going to do, but still the 3/3 plus the 1/1's already good. Here's another Surveillance Monitor. Have to take it over Shock here. This is a close one. Multiples of Surveillance Monitor play really well because they both collect evidence. You get 2 Thopters if they're both on board. But I already have quite a few Cold Case Crackers at the 4 mana slot, and more cheap removal is just always great in this format. I'm going to take a Shock here for this deck. Pick 7, really filler, sturdy top-end card with the Benthic Criminologists. Kind of a controlling version of the blue-red deck. Jaded Analyst is a nice early blocker that with the amount of clue tokens we have can definitely consistently hit for damage later. Pick number 9, not playing any of this. Pick 10, none of this. Pick 11, maybe Magnifying Glass if I really want to go full clue control. But that feels unlikely. Alright, so we've got a pretty interesting blue-red deck here. It's not the most aggressive version of this deck because we didn't get any of the 2-mana 1/1 flying artifact creature that gets a +1/+1 counter every time you sack a clue. That's the best aggro version of this deck. But we do have some potential 3-mana 4/4 flyers if we keep our artifact count really high, and we've got a really good long-game card advantage plan with triple Detective Satchel. So just grind out the game with a bunch of clue tokens and a bunch of satchels on the board. If we played in the long game, that means we run all of the 1/1 removal that we can. So we draw into it as often as possible, keep our opponent under control until we just draw way more cards. Then that's going to be our plan here for a more controlling version of this deck. So I'm definitely running Jaded Analyst as our best early blocker and Sanitation Automaton as an artifact creature. The Cold Case Crackers, the Monitor, and the Criminologists are all solid too. Kind of think I need to run pretty much all these creatures if I can, but there's basically no non-creature spells that I feel interested in cutting. We're at 10 creatures plus 2 Case of the Filch Falcon. This is like 12 creatures. Yeah, I'm going to go full kind of control deck mode here. Cut a couple more creatures and just be on a really high non-creature count. Because we also have triple Satchel spitting out Thopter tokens. So this is like 5 more creatures than it says. Yeah, 13. This looks pretty fine to me. Very interesting, controlling blue-red deck. Lots of cheap removal we're trying to utilize, and then play a bunch of card advantage over the long course of the game. Potential 4/4 flyers coming in with Case of the Filch Falcon. Deck looks pretty sweet, pretty unique. I'm a big fan. We've got 20 blue spells and 6 red. All of our red spells can get played later. They're removal spells and satchels, so I'm going to go for 10 blue sources and 7 red. Call it a deck there, hop into the gameplay, and see how it does. Here we are for game 1. Excellent synergy with this hand. We are on the draw here. We get to play the Case, followed by the Analyst to keep ourselves protected pretty well. And that'll already be 2 artifacts on board towards the Case of the Filch Falcon being solved. So the turn that we get to Detective Satchel, it's 100% solved. It's the other thing really nice about the Case of the Filch Falcons in a deck with 3 satchels The turn we play a Satchel, we'll always be solving the cases, because a Satchel is just, it's 3 artifacts off of the 1 spell every time. If our opponent doesn't play an early blocker, I think I'd rather just deduce first. Because I'm not going to be sacking any clues anytime soon and trying to get any early damage in. Alright, now that they have that, we can Analyst to block that. Deduce into Shock, though. Just get that thing off the board right now. Feels fine, too. So if it's anything big enough to flip up, kill our Analyst, it will no longer do so. It's not, but it could have flown over our Analyst and started hitting us in the sky. Gearbane Orangutan, blow up a clue. Annoyingly decent against us, because it's really, really mediocre most of the time. But when we really care about our clues, it is pretty good against us. Here's Traded Analyst. What does Lead Pipe do? +2/+0. Yeah, still trade Analyst off into Orangutan. I guess I like lose a life when the Orangutan dies now. Combat Trick is so fine as well. Oh, it's the one that reanimates it though, and they kill our other clue. Free sideboarded opponent hitting us hard here. So it's got a Menace now too. They have a second copy of the Orangutan. That's gonna suck, because then they blow up our Satchel. But let's solve our case. Face down card. Hello there. Lead Pipe onto Orangutan, start hitting for 4 a turn. Sanitation Automaton's the draw. It's 3 mana to make this a 4/4, so if I want to have the 2 blockers to block a Menace, I have to play these 2. Alternatively, I just galvanize the Orangutan, but I could be galvanizing the face down. Tap out to do so, which is rough. I think the better way to get 2 blockers here is to get a Thopter and play the Automaton. I definitely want to be drawing cards right now if I can. So I can get that blocker and then still galvanize the Orangutan. I think I'm just going to take a hit from this face down, because then I have a ton of blockers in the future, in the sky or on the ground. I'm going to clear out the Orangutan. Takes 6, down to 8. Shady Informant, when it dies, deals 2 to any target. That's a little annoying. But I can block with an Automaton. And they kill my Thopter, I suppose. Dramatic Accusation, definitely a good draw. Using that on Informant in the future would be really nice. I want to leave both the blockers up. I do not want to go down to 2 against a removal spell. And I would probably prefer to just chump with the Thopter and Accusation the Informant at this point. Interrogators, they get a clue of their own. There's my Accusation. Four swings in the sky will kill them, so that's the plan. Mana off from doing anything else with my mana here. Or I can only play an Accusation. Not a fan. Just need to chump long enough to hit them 3 more times with this flyer. Shock Automaton, yep. It's double removal to put me to 3. I guess double removal puts me to 1 because they can move the lead pipe over to the interrogators. Draw a card off of their clue. Chompity chomp chomp. Face down card. Welcome. Come on, mana. That's not mana. That's really awkward without a 6th land. I can only play 1 blocker because I don't have the 6th mana. Ah, the land draws are going to kill me here. I don't think I can afford to attack now. Because if I do, I'm dead to removal. Even if this is a 2/2 underneath there, because they just move the pipe, kill the 1 blocker I play this turn, and then kill me. I suppose the 4/5 is the best blocker. If we had a 6th land by the time we get the satchel, that we would just straight win this game. Because we could have 2 Thopters here, plus draw a card, and then 2 Thopters again next turn. There would be no breaking through that. Close, but I think the lands just are not going to work for us here. I don't see how we outrace them at this point. Oh, well, you got me. We go to 1 now. I could still win if I hit land 6, but it was not to be. 0-1 heading to game 2. Here we are for game 2. Another very synergistic hand. Multiple removal spells, multiple clues for our case to solve. Be super, super up on cards as long as we can hit the mana to play everything we draw into this time. Reckless Detective is the start from our opponent. Well, punished for being on the draw, as you are. We have the Reasonable Doubt in time, but they got to play their 2-drop before I had the 2 mana out before the potential Reasonable Doubt, so Reckless Detective does the thing. Or alternatively, we could have Accusation it before it got a single attack in. Were we on the play. But instead they get this thing rolling. Very, very excellent card. Discard a card, draw a card every turn is already great. But the potential to sack any artifacts and draw a card without discarding is really, really nice. Lets you crack your clue tokens for free. Counter that. Torch the Witness. Get another clue. I can deduce, unlock my case, and crack a clue here. Although if I hit another blue source, I will just double deduce. I'm good to take 1 hit from Courier to get this case solved as quickly as possible. Courier is very similar to Reckless Detective, just another good card draw engine, which is awkward. We haven't played any threats of our own yet, so I would really not be surprised if they just can immediately kill our 4/4 flyer. But the nice part about it is it will still be a clue token, so I can sacrifice it in response to any removal. Discard Conspiracy Unravelers? They must be looking for more mana right now. They're discarding the big scary flyer. Command answers. Discard a card, draw 2. Well, discard the land. I guess they just figured this thing's so far away. Either way. Unauthorized exit. Not bad. Not bad. 4/4 flyer and hold that up. If they have removal for the 4/4 flyer, we just draw the card off of it. I guess if they remove it during their turn, then they're going to get the value, because I'm going to bounce this courier before it draws them another card, I think. Well, do I have to? I don't have to. I can go to 12, give them another draw discard, and save exit for later. And then also, if they have removal this turn, I get to draw the card. Yeah, I can hold off. I can chill. At least till their end step. It's probably not even entirely necessary to get that card worth of value if they do blow up the 4/4, because, like, we are the clue deck. I've got 3 other clues still to sacrifice over time. So it probably would have been perfectly fine to bounce this courier before the attack. Worst case scenario, they blow up our 4/4 without us drawing the card off of it, but I've got 6 mana worth of other clues still to toy around with. Cornered Crook. No artifact to sack? Alright, that worked pretty well for me. Oh, they can sack Scene of the Crime, but I doubt they're sacking a land to shoot me for 3. Detective Satchel, perfect. Drawing that before I've cracked any clues. Let's go. And now we are just in Value Town here. Not a sorcery speed ability, so I can do it during their turn. And we're going to do it during their turn, that way if they are playing sorcery speed removal like their own dramatic accusation, I get to sack the clue that's about to die anyway, instead of a different one. Go to 9. The race continues. Cornered Crook is back. No sacrifice. Ooh, Surveillance Monitor is great. No satchel value here, but I think it's worth it for the best blocks we can set up. They're down to 7. I've got a Chumper or a Trader. And Surveillance Monitor, because we don't really have any other collect evidence in this deck, is perfectly fine to just trade off here. If they don't sacrifice an artifact to make Courier unblockable. I was considering accusing the Furtive Courier instead of the Cornered Crook. because that could potentially get an unblockable swing in, but it's a pretty hefty cost of sacking an artifact. They'll need some kind of clue production in their deck. It'd still be a 3-turn kill. Oh, they've got a sacrifice card? Sack this Cornered Crook? What could they have to sacrifice it out of? Blue-white. Blue-white-red. Is there a fling in this format? Am I about to just get flinged for lethal? That would suck. Sack it, deal 7 to me, attack, sack scene of the crime, get 3 unblockable damage in. Oh, God. Well, that explains the Conspiracy Unraveler discard early. They're dead on board. No, they're not dead on board. They go to 1 life. Oh, shoot. Okay, this is bad. And they can cast something for free? Yeah, cast removal spell for free. Wow. I'm getting like Reanimator comboed out this game. I did say let's 7 over O3 real fast. Maybe it's gonna be O3. I do think this deck is excellent, but oh, these games are not working out how I want them to. I mean, this one was a... Oh, thank goodness. Wow. I was going to say, this game was a much better showing for our deck. Because last game, I think, was worrisome because of the way that we draw, the way that our hand played out, which was that we just didn't hit enough mana in the end there to stabilize. This game was scary because of how their deck played out, because of like the victimized combo stuff. That was terrifying, but top deck shock can still get you those free wins out of nowhere, and we do get to be 1-1 now, heading into game number 3. Here we are on the play for game 3. Deduce plus reasonable doubt plus unauthorized exit is the Holy Trinity. Card draw, counterspell, interaction. 1 drop. Oh boy. Certainly are in Murders at Karlov Manor, super aggro format. Down to 19. Alright, I'll bounce that if they tap out. Keep that land for sure. I got a Satchel if I get to 4 mana, so I really want to deduce towards the 4th mana over Bubble Smuggler if they don't play something scary. Okay, face down's scary enough. Hit the mana anyway. They are a green deck. There are some free main deckable artifact removal spells out of green, like just efficient rate cards. If I remember right, some cards that are just already efficient that also happen to blow up an artifact. That would be bad for us. So there's Fester Leech. And a face down. Okay, Satchel remains. Satchel indeed remains. Bubble Smuggle. Crack a clue, get a 1/1. Case of the Trampled Garden. Oof. Very scary. 2 +1/+1 counters to make sure our blocks are real bad. And then they get 8 power on the board. They get another +1/+1 counter every single turn. And it shouldn't be that hard for them to do. They already have 7 power off of buffing Fester Leech. I'm going to pray this face down doesn't flip up for just 2 mana to be more than 2 toughness. There's not a ton of cards that do. Which means they have to have a combat trick in their hand, which they could absolutely have. We might get combat tricked here. We don't. Good trade is good. Just take the Fester Leech damage. Lower that case quite a bit. Ooh, Rebel Belt Maverick gets milled. That's solid synergy for our opponent. Speaking of solid synergy, here's 2 Thopters per clue sacked now. Where I can easily just start chumping every turn. And end up a Thopter each time. I have basically an infinite supply of clues at this point. 3 on board, a 4th in hand, a 5th when Cold Case Cracker dies. And with 2 Satchels on board, an infinite supply of clues is an infinite supply of Thopters. probably just let Fester Leech in one more time. I can go to 12 here to collect these Thopters until there's enough of them to easily threaten to trade into that. Instead of jumping. Yeah, I could take a hit here. No buff. Can definitely take a no buff hit. We about to see another victimized player? That would be insane, because that's a card from the special guest slot, which means it's rarer than a mythic rare. But I don't remember this format super well, because it is pretty old at this point. Over a year old. There could be other graveyard recursion I'm completely forgetting, but they're doing something with their graveyard. Oh, they're probably collecting evidence is what it is. Oh no, there is a just return 2 creatures from grave to hand. Cool. They chose just one? Oh no, they chose Maverick and Creeper? Okay. Play the Creeper face down because they want to be able to blow up our satchels by flipping it up. So we are really digging for removal for that. But our deck does have a lot of removal, so let's hope. Find one of our shocks or galvanizes or something. Be a huge deal. Torch the witness. Kill it before it flips. Save all our satchels. Yes, I'm not playing Cold Case Cracker because I'm just drawing towards the removal spell here. As much as I possibly can. There you go. There's the Galvanize. The race begins. You kill my last clue. At least I've got the deuce on my side. And I'll have 8 mana next turn. I'm drawing all the lands I need this time. Clear the Maverick off the board, force them to use the mana, get the counter back out there. They can solve the case of the Trampled Garden this turn since they had a 3-2 this time, which is rough. If they use the Maverick to get the 6th power on the board and then activate the Fester Leech, that's 8 power. Or if they play in their 2 power or better creature and use the Maverick. So there's the Maverick. So now play another creature or activate the Leech. Alright. Worked out well for us. Took 2 less damage than necessary since they ended up just using the Leech anyway. Sanitation Automaton. Okay. And this thing having reach is also a bummer. Turtle up. If there's a death touch trick, I lose the game on the spot. Let's go. And just kill a bunch of Thopters here. And this would put me to 7 if I don't block it. It has Trample 2 from the case. Yeah, this is going to be pretty awful, however I block, so... Let's try the absolute hardest we can to kill this Fester Leech. Oh my god. Thick Mythic gets us pretty hard. Destroy Cold Case Cracker and our Satchel at instant speed. Wasn't really a combat trick at all, but losing 2 of our best permanents at once there was not fun. Surveil that land into the trash can, crack the clue. Put that land into the trash can that is our hand. Play a Thopter and pass the turn. This case starts popping off. They can attack with the Whipcracker here, and I can't block it at all. I just don't have the spells to play any more creatures or removal and get the trade here. We have basically every spell in our deck except one Jaded Analyst is a really good draw. So we have 4 lands and 15 spells. So 4 lands and then 14 great draws. I think our odds are decent here. We're under a ton of pressure. Shout out to Jaded Analyst. The one card I specifically didn't want to draw that I said out loud and should not have. Please flood, opponent. Just let me get the draw. Oh my god. That is not flood. That is another solved case of the Trampled Garden immediately. Oh my god. I got 1 turn to hit like specifically Dramatic Accusation now. Because they have an 8 power trampler that's going to attack as a 10 power trampler. Okay, Torch the Witness works too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In case of a combat... No, if they had a combat trick in their hand, they would have used it to kill me. So I'm not going to play around a combat trick. I was like, what if they can buff this and make it higher toughness and then I don't kill it anymore? They could buff it if they would have done that to put me to 0. Okay, that is great. We are drawing spells now. Time to stabilize. Sorry, Detective Satchel copy 1. You will be remembered. I think the Detective Satchel would have wanted to turn into a Thopter after it died. I think we followed its wishes. What is going on over here? What can you do? 1-2 and into game number 4. The Golgari deck hit us with the oops, Golgari has haste too. Alright, here we are for game number 4. We are 1-2 right now. Another awesome super synergistic hand, ready to see how it falls apart this time. Our opponent's on a blue deck, starting with Candlestick. Mono blue so far, still on the 2 mana. They're just going to crack the Candlestick, draw a card, fair enough. This might be the most consistent deck I've ever drafted in terms of being able to solve the case of the Filched Falcon, because 3 satchels. Like, I have solved these cases without a satchel on the board several times, but I also have 3 insta-solves. Just a single Detective Satchel is 3 artifacts immediately. I hope this isn't the Creeper. Creeper is very good against our deck. Green-blue opponent. Rubble Belt Maverick hits the board and surveils both the cards to the top, so our opponent likes their draws. There's another face down. One of these is probably Vengeful Creeper. One of the best commons in the set, so certainly a high pick when you're in green. Makes me want to try to hold off on Detective Satchel and have them blow up something else. It's 5 mana to flip up the Creeper, so they might blow up our solved case of the Filched Falcon, which would be sad as well, but not quite as sad as losing a Detective Satchel. The worst part about this is they have all the mana they need to likely flip up either of these, to where I can't really like block if they attack all. Surprised they did that pre-combat. Okay, never mind, I'm not. I thought that was going to be a 4/4. Because it's only a 3/3, then yeah, that's fine. If that could have flipped into a 4/4, they could attack, and then if I blocked the wrong one, oops. Goodbye, Surveillance Monitor for no value. I'm going to keep turtling up here. We're going to Criminologist, sack a clue for free. Now I'm going full turtle mode. Once I have 6 mana, to play the Satchel and have Unauthorized Exit up, that'll be really nice. Because then if they do have a Creeper... I might have misremembered. Creeper might be 6 to flip up. But anyways, then I could like bounce the Satchel if they try to blow it up. Okay, obviously not the best trade ever, but... kind of have to kill a 6/5. Okay, no, this is actually a good trade. Trade our 4/5 with a good ability into a 6/5. Probably fine. Okay. Now we're living the Satchel dream. Bounce it if need be, and otherwise crack a clue for many, many turns. There's another face down that could be a Vengeful Creeper. Unauthorized Exit our Surveillance Monitor. Okay, I'll get another Thoughtbearer value. That's fine with me. Take a big hit this turn, but sure. Get your +1/+1 counter somewhere else if you want it. I keep full controlling because I had in Tarkir a really, really bad thing happen where I played a counterspell during my end step, and then the card that gets cheaper if you cast a spell this turn, it just never gave me priority to cast that thing. So now I'm just keep full controlling if I need to do multiple things in my end step. This hand is absolutely groovy. Losing a tiny bit of Thopter value here to play it really safe with my Unauthorized Exit. Crocodelph. Hello, 5/5. Block with 2 1/1s and have the Unauthorized Exit up if they have something to save their creature from that double block. They do not. Got rid of another 6/5 Bubble Smuggler, potentially. Oh, we are doing the thing here. Torture Crocodile. They had a combat trick, they would have saved their face down last turn, so we know that's not going to happen. I'll spend a turn not cracking a clue here. At this point, they would have killed the Satchel so long ago if they could. This only plays wrong if they top deck the naturalize. The artifact destruction. Agency Outfitter, big flyer has arrived. Comes with a magnifying glass or a thinking cap. Or both, if they put all of them in their deck. Magnifying glass is a mana rock that can spit out clue tokens later for a bunch of mana, and thinking cap is just a +1/+2 equipment. Okay, neither. Flip the aggressive corner now. We have the lead on board and the lead by a country mile in terms of card advantage. We have 3 cards in hand, they have 2, and I have 5 extra pieces of card draw on board. Unless we get, like, randomly insta-killed by something again. This feels pretty on lock. Sack that one then. It has been accused. Get my Surveil here and get a swing in. Well, guess I did not need the Surveil. Do I have 6 up after? Oh my god, I have 6 up after that? That's probably lethal. I'm just gonna hit for however long, or however much damage it is. Yeah, it's lethal. Jeez. 6 stuff. 6 stuff from the blue-red clue deck that game, and we are 2-2 heading into game number 5. Alright, game number 5 now. We got the Analyst to slow our opponent down, multiple removal spells, and top it off with Surveillance Monitor. Spitting out a wide board. Not a lot of card advantage or clue value in this hand, but there's plenty in the deck to draw into. I guess the Torch the Witness is 1 clue. Another crime. Hey, speaking of card advantage, I can play Analyst first and try to get attacks off with it with the Deduce. But I'd rather just be 100% on card draw until they put something on the board. Plus, getting the Deduce into the graveyard immediately towards more evidence in grave is nice. I do care enough about clues for other reasons that it might be worth playing Analyst instead of cracking the clue for more cards, but I'm a greedy man that likes strong cards, so I'm probably going to just crack the clue next turn instead of playing the blocker, since the board is still empty here. Especially if I don't hit land 4. If I don't hit land 4, I'll definitely draw another card. To know, yeah, to know that I'm going to make my way up here. Well, okay. That changes things enough. Having a perfectly mana-efficient creature to play of the 3-mana ward card makes me want to just do that. And then next turn I can crack the clue trying to hit the land, and if it hits it I can still play Analyst because I can go Mountain for the clue. So regardless of the land draw, I'll have my mana. Hello? What are you doing in Karlov Manor, Stromkirk, Captain? I do not think I need to remove that spell in the slightest. Because I just don't think there's other vampires, but I could be wrong. I mean, I guess I can remove it plus draw a card, so like, why not? I don't have any blockers that can block a 2/2 first strike, so it's not the worst. I guess there are vampires in black in this set, but there's not a lot. Drone Smith. See, there's my punishment for getting too quick with it. I can accusation the Drone Smith, but who really cares? It still uses its ability every turn. Pokes me for 1 every turn. We are not drawing the lands. Do I need to crack here? That's really bad if I crack it and still don't hit a land. I gotta get towards them though. If I crack it and then still don't hit a land, it's gonna be so long till I hit a land anyway that I'd be in a really, really bad spot. I kind of have to keep another satchel, which in some ways is very exciting. We could have double satchel going later in this game, but is also very concerning because we do need a lot of mana to play around with them. And I'm actively choosing to not draw my 5th land here. Okay, that Snuffler's gigantic, so we definitely want to accuse that. It gets bigger every single turn with the Drone Smith. Double Drone Smith, I have to take 2 a turn. The worst part about it is I can make plenty of Thopters of my own, but these are Thopters that just die in the end step anyway, so trading my full-on Thopters into those is bad. It's bad news. I need to find one of my cold case crackers, which I do have like 3 of. Yeah, I've got 3 cold case crackers. That would be our blockers for those. We are getting really punished for having blue tap base removal instead of shooting removal. I mean, really just punished for killing the captain instead of the drone smith. I figured there probably weren't a lot of vampires here, but then I remembered there are some black ones. I hate Gearbane Orangutan with a passion. Goodbye, Detective Satchel. Oof, the long goodbye uncounterable removal as well. Shock is not enough damage to kill a drone smith. But I can play Satchel plus Shock, so still our best play here. Block a drone smith plus Shock it. Take 6. Unless they have more removal now. There's probably Monitor here over Satchel. Okay, they don't even attack with a drone smith anyway. I don't think I could verbalize how frustrating that is accurately. Alright, well, we would have had a better chance this game had we had the removal spell to shoot the Jonesmith, but the double Gearbane on both of our satchels was going to be completely devastating either way. How bad is this face down about to be for me? Just more and more and more removal. Okay, technically the Gearbanes aren't exactly removal, but they were basically removal this game. Oh. One, two, three, four, five, 6, 7, 8 damage minimum. We go to 4 life maximum here. Okay, I'm gonna move on. That is 3 and 3 for today's draft. Kind of a bummer of a record for this deck. I mean, you saw what happened in the gameplay. You saw how this deck played out. I think it is really synergistic and quite strong. We just got some rough matchups. Oh, I was on a 41 card special the whole time. I guess I deck built it a little too fast, but it is what it is. I got places to go and things to do. So I paid slightly less attention here. And it is possible I played a little too fast. Maybe there were some better lines there that could have gotten us out of maybe one of those losses. One or two, maybe. And that's how we get to a better record. But I don't know. Pretty happy with the deck that we drafted. I think it looks really nice. It played out really nice generally. Just our opponent's decks had really good matchups with multiple orangutans and stuff, or our opponent's decks just played out really, really well. Like even better than ours. But I still think it was a good showing from this deck, from this archetype. I really love, again, the triple satchel double case. It was a really nice synergy there. We were solving the cases without the satchels on board too. The removal's pretty great. We could use a little bit more targeted 1-for-1 removal. It's a little better. Ideally, some more red removal like Galvanizes over these Accusations. That was a big part of our downfall in the last game, is having Accusations to kill the Jonesmiths, but not Galvanizes to actually get them off the board. So those Thopters just got to keep hitting us. And then by the time that we hit our flying blocker, they could just remove it with a different removal spell anyway. Yeah. 3-3, sad to get a bit of an average record this time around. Would have liked to see the deck do better, but I still think we drafted a pretty cool, pretty powerful deck, even if it didn't quite pan out. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.